Hello all, I'm Gray, the TF2 Weapon Ideas guy, and today I decided to revisit the Degreaser. This weapon has obviously been quite controversial over the years. Some call it overpowered, some call it underpowered, some call it a crappy design choice. I personally think it's a crappy design choice. TLDR, you can't add items as afterthoughts once you've already gotten the mechanics in place. Alright, so now I'll explain that. Basically, the Degreaser was added after the flare gun and extinguisher, which are now the favored weapons to combo with it. The bushwhacker, which is the other one we're going to talk about here, was added after the Girardi. And essentially, what this did was it forced them to rebalance the extinguisher and flare gun. Mostly the extinguisher, actually. So, what the problem here is, they had the extinguisher and the flare gun. These two weapons were balanced to work with the stock flamethrower's switching speed, not the Degreasers. Once they added the Degreaser, it affected both of those weapons, the flare gun and the extinguisher. It made them more powerful, simply because you had that versatility in place. And this is a fairly common concept in game design, where a single element doesn't affect much by itself, but it does affect the other playable elements. It's very common in combo mechanics. You will see a similar something when they decided to add the reserve shooter to the Pyro's arsenal. See, the only choice they had was to rebalance the extinguisher. They had to do that because if they nerfed the Degreaser, it would basically be worthless. So it kind of forced them into doing this, and that was generally a very bad design choice. I'm not going to bash them too much on it, but I believe that the Degreaser should have been shipped with the Pyro update. They should have had that idea before. Simply because it caused so many design issues down the line. The Degreaser is the problem in the extinguisher combo. The extinguisher was fine before the Degreaser was introduced. And that's an example of how not to do a combo mechanic like that. You gotta remember, you're not just looking at the weapon itself, you're looking at how it affects other weapons. And the bushwhacker now. They went, hey, we have Girardi, so the sniper's really good at getting mini-crits. Why don't we introduce the bushwhacker too, to take advantage of that? And since they knew full well what it could work with, and what it would combo with nicely, for example, a buff banner charge, something like that, they knew how to balance the bushwhacker for what was already in the game. They were able to say, okay, people are probably going to use this with Girardi, so we should make sure it's not too overpowered with Girardi, or else it'll just break the game and be no fun for anyone. So they balanced that accordingly, and it turned out to be an actually good weapon. I personally like it quite a bit. That was basically all I had to say. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.